If you just opened SolidWorks 2026 and felt completely overwhelmed, you're not alone. Wait, there's so many buttons here, like what am I even supposed to click? How am I even supposed to get started? In the next few minutes, I'm gonna walk you through every part of the interface so that you actually understand what you're looking at. Hello my fellow inventors, Wilfredo Perez here with another video for the Inventor Within channel, teaching you the skills and the knowledge that you need to develop and design your product ideas with the 2 S's and the 1 C. Sustainably, systematically, and confidently. Okay, so now that we have SolidWorks installed on our device, let's go ahead and open it so we can start getting familiar with the user interface. Depending on which version of SolidWorks you're using, you might be prompted to log in to 3D Experience. If you do, it should show up in the form of a pop-up such as this one. And in the event that it hasn't shown up for you yet, just continue following along with this video until it does. And once it does, don't panic, just simply fill out your login credentials and proceed. Now if you somehow don't have a 3D Experience account, go ahead and check out our last video. I will make sure to link it up in the top right corner of this video. I forgot to mention in the initial video recording that if you're actually watching this video before February 17, 2026, you can get the yearly subscription of the For Makers version of SolidWorks at a 50% discounted rate. That is, you can get it for just $24 for an entire year. If you want to get your hands on a powerful tool to not only design your product ideas, but just design really cool things in general, then make sure to take advantage of this opportunity. Make sure to click on those links that the version of me from yesterday just mentioned a couple of seconds ago if you want to find out how to purchase the software and how to install it, and also if your device can actually run it. Since I'm currently recording this short snippet on February 14, I want to wish you all a happy Valentine's Day and just a great day in general. But yeah, that's enough chit chat and let's get back to the main content. Okay, so now that we have the software open, if you haven't created anything with SolidWorks yet or are opening it for the first time, odds are your welcome page will look pretty empty. So it should look pretty similar to mine except for this part file right here and this recent folder. Yours should be completely blank. As you might have guessed from this, the welcome page is where you can access projects and folders you've recently worked with. The welcome page can also be used to start new projects and to access a variety of resources. Now, if you don't see the welcome page, you can access it by clicking on the little house icon on the top bar right here. Or you can also access it by just double clicking here on anywhere on the page. If you instead see the new SolidWorks document screen, you can left click on cancel and it should bring you right back to the home screen. However, if that doesn't work, if instead you have the new document page open here and hitting cancel doesn't actually bring up the home screen, then again you can either click on the house icon up here or just double click on the screen. The welcome page has a few other tabs that are quite useful. The recent tab can be used to easily search for recent projects and to filter them out based on name or the type of file, such as either a part, an assembly, or a drawing. We will be going over the meaning of each one of these file types in a future video. The Learn tab gives you access to a variety of learning resources. You can partake in guides and step-by-step tutorials to create parts that will help you learn the fundamentals. The Learn tab also gives you access to 3D models that were installed in your device along with SolidWorks, and models that are famous among the online community. And finally, the Alerts tab notifies you of any important news or updates to the SolidWorks software. Now, even without having a document open, we can get started learning about the SolidWorks user interface. So I'm going to exit out of this Home tab right here, the home screen. And here we are presented with the user interface when we don't have any part file or any document open. So right now, we can see the menu bar along with the menu bar pull downs at the top and the task pane on the right side of the screen. The menu bar is used for some basic functions that you see in everyday software, such as creating, opening, or saving files, or accessing the software settings. Some of the symbols here are grayed out because they require a file to be open. For instance, you can't save a file if you don't have a file already open. Additionally, you have your typical File tab, among a few others like the View and Tools tab as menu bar pull downs. If you don't see these tabs, chances are that your menu bar looks something like this. If it does, you can have it showing the way I have it by hovering your mouse cursor over either the SolidWorks logo or the arrow next to it on the top left corner of the screen. Once you do, make sure to left click on the pin And once the pin is pointing to the bottom left side, your menu bar should look identical to the one I have on screen when pulling your mouse cursor away from it. The task pane can be used to access files and resources that will be useful in our design work. It gives us the option to apply different colors and textures to our models, gives us access to pre-existing designs we can incorporate in our models, and gives us a way to access the SolidWorks community forums, among a few other things. The task pane usually hides away when you click anywhere else on the screen. However, if you wish for it to remain open, you can do so by navigating to the top right corner of it, where you will see this pin right here. Clicking on it and making sure that the pin is facing to the bottom left side means that you can go ahead and click anywhere else on the software and the task pane will remain open. Now, another thing you can do is you can extend the visibility of the task pane by using your left mouse button to hold onto the edge of it and just drag it along. And depending on what size you end up extending it to, you can always toggle between the default and the customized size by clicking on these two arrows up here. For the time being, I'm going to go ahead and unpin it because I do like having some additional workspace. Additionally, the task pane can be undocked from its standard location by holding and dragging the name of it using the left mouse button. You can leave it hovering over your screen to have it available while working. You can change its size by dragging on its edges, and you can pin or unpin it to hide it or have it show while you work on your models. If you want to put the task pane back into place, you can either drag it back onto the right side of the screen as I showcase here, or you can click on the dock task pane icon. To see the other areas of the user interface, let's open a part file. To do so, I will go over to the home icon, and since I already have this part right here, I will go ahead and click on it to open it. And this will open up the full SolidWorks user interface. You'll notice that some of the buttons in the menu bar are no longer grayed out, and we have a couple of more tab options in the menu bar pull down. We are also introduced to a couple of new areas, these being the command manager, the feature manager design tree, the graphics area, the heads-up view toolbar, the reference triad, and the status bar. The command manager is where you can easily access design tools that are specific to what you are trying to make. For instance, it has tools available if you want to create sheets of metal, or surfaces, or weldments, or even molds for iron casting. It also has tools to evaluate your 3D models, among a few others. Hovering over different tools and icons will display the name of the icon, and in some instances will even give you a description of what that tool does. You can click on the various tabs in the command manager to switch between tool sets. If you want to add additional tabs or remove a couple of them, you can do so by right-clicking on any tab in the command manager, navigating over to tabs in the drop-down menu, and left-clicking on any tab you'd like to add or remove. The ones with the checkmark are the ones that are currently already on display in the command manager, so clicking them again will remove them. It is good to know that each tab does not include the entire set of tools that could be used, but it includes the most frequently used ones. As we progress through learning the software, I'll teach you how to access tools that are not on the command manager and how to customize it so that it does include them. In case you lose track of the command manager, I do want to let you know that you can both hide and switch its location around. You can hide the command manager by left clicking on the little upward arrow on the bottom right corner of the command manager, and doing so will make it so that only the command manager tabs are displayed. If you want to unhide the command manager, you can do so by just clicking on any of the command manager tabs, which will bring up the actual command manager, but notice that if I click anywhere else, it will disappear again. So what you want to do is you click on any of the tabs, then you navigate all the way over here to the bottom right corner to this pin, and we click on it, and there we go. The command manager should now remain put even if we click anywhere else. If you want to undock the command manager and change its location, you can do so by holding left click on any of these tabs and dragging. And as you can see, the command manager detaches, and I'm giving 3 options. I can either put it back up here, can put it right here to the left, or over here onto the right. Regardless of where I decide to put it, I can always remove it once again by just holding onto either of the tabs and dragging it away. If I really wanted to, I could even just leave it out here. I could change its size and just work on it here as I work with the model. If you want a quick method of putting it back into where it last was, you can simply double click on this icon right here to auto collapse it. But for me, since I want it back up here, I'm gonna go ahead and detach it from here and just drag it right here. The graphics area is where you view and interact with your model. This is the area where we will be spending most of our time. And maybe with some time, it will become your favorite area of the user interface. On the bottom left corner of the graphics area, we have the reference triad, which gives us a sense of the orientation we have the model in depending on how we rotate it. The heads up view toolbar is used to change the appearance of the part, change our perspective of it, and it helps us locate and orient the part we are working with in the graphics area. So for instance, if I were to zoom out from the part by a lot and I'm not able to tell where it is, I can just simply click on some of these tools to quickly zoom back into place and use some tools to zoom in. I can use a couple of other tools to change the display style, such as if I want to hide the lines or if I want to have it shown in wireframe geometry. And we also have a couple of tools to change our perspective of the model as well as the color. The feature manager design tree, often called the feature design tree or even design tree, is where we can see the history of how a part was made. So for instance, if I drag this blue line, you can see kind of like the history of how it is I made the part. So you can see I removed that top ring right there. I removed the face, and yeah. So if I drag it back down, you can see I first created the body of the cat, and I added the face, added the ring right there, and then for a couple of reasons I had to remove some of the finer details of it. This is pretty convenient because it allows us to make edits to specific changes we made to the model without having to start it all over again. There is more to this area of the user interface, but for now, this is enough for us to get a basic understanding. The design tree can be enlarged by dragging on its rightmost edge with the left mouse button, and can be hidden and unhidden by clicking on this little icon at the center of its edge. At the very bottom, we have the status bar. The status bar can be difficult to understand if you haven't had prior experience with SolidWorks. But for the time being, all you need to know is that the status bar will display the measurement units you are designing with, such as inches or millimeters. It will also show you the coordinates that your mouse cursor is currently at, and it will display the status of sketches. Now don't worry if this goes straight over your head right now. As we get some practice and learn more, you will understand what this means and it will become second nature to you. There are more interface areas we could go over, but I think those are good for now. If I were a beginner just starting out with SolidWorks, I wouldn't worry too much about understanding what each user interface area is responsible for. If anything, I strongly encourage you to try to remember the names of them and have a basic, general idea of what you can find in each area. Developing new skills often involves learning the lingo first, so this is what we are trying to do. I know it can be difficult, so for future videos, I will be constantly reminding you of the names so that you grow accustomed to them. Now, there's a chance that your SolidWorks could look different from mine. Unfortunately, I can't account for all the ways it might seem different, but let me go ahead and show you something real quick. My installation of SolidWorks came with a couple of toolbars that are usually for more advanced features, so while it doesn't hurt to have them, I don't see myself going over them in the next couple of videos. And so because of this, I want to remove them. To do so, I will right click on any of the command manager tabs and navigate down to toolbars. Here I can enable or disable toolbars by left clicking on them. For me, I will disable the selection filter toolbar as well as the blocks toolbar. If you're a beginner, I suggest you stick only with the toolbars I currently have enabled on this screen, as this will be the layout I will be using, and it will be a lot easier for you to follow along if we have the same layout. But feel free to play around with these toolbars and arrange your layout in whatever way you want. Now I know this can be a lot, so here's a screenshot of the SolidWorks user interface and a table giving a quick simplified summary of what each one does. It's time for the question of the week. You know, this whole time I've been calling it the question of the day, but I just realized since I'm posting mainly like every week, it should be called the question of the week. What were you struggling with or are currently struggling with when it comes to the SolidWorks user interface? Is your SolidWorks user interface looking vastly different to mine, or is it pretty similar? Let me know in the comments section so I can help you out. Yeah, you read that right. It's time for the challenge of the week. Mastery of a skill takes practice, and if you're serious about creating and designing your product ideas, it's gonna take some work. Even dedicating just 10 minutes a day can create amazing results for you later down the road. So this week I want to challenge you to get familiar with the SolidWorks user interface. Learn the names, get a general understanding of what each does, and play around with the layout. That is, add and remove command manager tabs and toolbars, change the location of the command manager and task pane, and see if you can get your user interface looking back like the one I showed in the video. And of course, if within your practice you end up getting stuck, let me know down in the comment section and I'll help you out. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and consider subscribing and enabling notifications for more beginner-friendly SolidWorks tutorials. Let me know in the comment section what videos you'd like for me to do, and depending on how they fit into the beginner-friendly curriculum, I might just get them done. So that is it for this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Laters.